Hi, it's Stuart once again, and I just wanted to follow up with a second video regarding the black box of marketing. For most of you, you might probably be starting out in business, and because you're starting out in business, you may not know enough about the setup and internal workings. And one of the things that I always had problems with was figuring out what was involved in the business. Like, for instance, you can tell me all these strategies, but how does it really work? How do your employees actually work? How do you actually formulate a system that actually gets things going? Now, the marketing black box is something that I thought about. You know, the analogy that I sent to you about having an aircraft with a black box that records all the data. You see, you have to have your own black box as well, something that you can track, something that you can identify so that you can track your results, your returns, and so on. Most beginners in business don't know how to do this, and even for myself, I didn't discover this until I realized it was a very simple mathematical process. So, a couple of things I want to mention to you regarding the marketing black box. If you don't know enough about it, you have to make full use of what I'm saying right now and go and investigate it. It's really a starting point. You will not have courses that will teach you all of these things all in one place. So I'm giving you a broad overview. I want you to really take action on this, because just knowledge alone is not the only thing. Right now I'm sitting in McDonald's, and McDonald's is probably one of the places where they have a marketing black box. How do they get their staff so efficient? How do they actually get people, and within the span of one day, actually get them to do the things that they're supposed to do? I mean, over the other side, we've got Starbucks. Why is it that people keep going to Starbucks even though we know that it's heavily overpriced in terms of coffee? You could easily head down to one of the other shops and just get coffee at like 1/5 of the price. Why do people still go to Starbucks? And the answer comes in the black box. Well, I'm going to cover 4 main things with you. The first one is how you get your system up and running, where your prospects keep coming back to you over and over again. And remember, the word is prospect. It's got nothing to do with whether these people are buying or not. So don't get misled into the idea that having a lot of prospects is going to be good for you. The second thing is the system that converts your prospects into customers. So people who are actually buyers, these are the people who you want, not just pure prospects alone. In fact, one of the things that I was discussing with my affiliate manager earlier on is just fire my prospects, because they're not buying anything from me, or they're not benefiting from this relationship. And if they're not benefiting from this relationship, then it begs the question, do you really want to waste time being on the system of communication with me? So it's important for you to understand that the second component is about a system that brings your prospects from being just a prospect into becoming a customer, full-blown customer. The third component is called the creative offer. How have you innovated in order to bring something that is worthwhile to your customers? Do you know what they want? Do you know what it is that's required of them? So if you don't know what it is that's required of you to deliver to them, then how can you actually have an offer that is compelling enough, that's creative enough for them to actually buy into your idea and actually therefore turn into customers? So these are elements that you have to pay attention to. And the last portion of the marketing black box is this thing called tracking. Okay? What we need to understand is, if you don't track your results, if you don't track your statistics, then you will be at the mercy of the question that is, what have you done? How do you know that you're succeeding or not? If you have feedback, at least you will be able to generate more results by changing the way in which you're doing things, right? So let's start off very simply with these 4 main components. What exactly is the system that brings your prospects to you? First of all, in order for you to understand this, please go back to the previous video on lead generation. Once you understand this, it will become easier for you to create even more of these leads. There are, like I mentioned, over 100 different ways in which we generate leads, and I would suggest that you focus on at least 3 or 4 of them, which are more effective for you. You have to test a couple of them out, track those results. So one of the things that many people suggest is utilizing article marketing. Another one of the sites that I recommend would be easyarticles.com. Many of you may probably know of this, but you have to be consistent. The consistency is what actually generates the traffic. The more articles you submit, the more general interest that you create across the board. And one of the core tips that I recommend for anyone to generate traffic is to submit similar articles to different categories, and that's what will generate, shall I say, a split test. Which of these categories actually drives more traffic over to your website? Another useful tip would be to leverage off PR, public relations, and press releases. So if you have gone